Today's movie review is 2017's It. By the way, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. This is Butters. I am pretty sure some of y'all were wondering who that handsome dog was in the intro. And yeah, this is my little buddy. This is Butters. Okay, so as is obvious, this was filmed out of order. A little funny thing I noticed while reviewing that footage is that you could see my nipples, and yeah, it was cold. This is the garage, it's cold, so I got this, and let's get started. So It came out in 2017. It was the first time it's been adapted into an actual movie or an actual theatrical release. A lot of people get it confused with as a remake, but that was a mini series. It was a two-part, I believe, for TV. So it was aired on television. It was released on home video and DVD, later on. But it was not. It's not. I mean, that thing's like 3 hours long. It's not a film, a standalone movie per se. So anyhow, so this one is, and I, like most people, I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. So I'm not really going to compare it to the first It, or the first It, the TV miniseries, for a lot of reasons. It is very much its own animal, which is cool, and at the same time, like, a lot of people might ask, which one did you like better? It's like, yeah. Okay, so the original was really cool. I'm one of those people that still likes it, even though it has not aged well in the books of many people. Excuse me. So one reason I like the original still, in my opinion, let me just get this out of the way, it's a lot creepier, it's a lot scarier, more scary. In my opinion, there's so many movies that in the 80s and early 90s, the creep factor was there, the tension, the suspense, and that is there way more, just a way more present there than in the new one. Now, the new one does have a good amount of jump scares, and there is some tension build up there, but it's not, in comparison to the original, or I'm just going to call it the original, in comparison to the original, it was not as scary. However, I really like the new one as far as it was very story driven. Like, I actually cared about these characters. I'm pretty sure, this is so late, so this review, so y'all have seen the movie yourselves, or you've seen other reviews, and yeah, that was so cool. Like, it spent so much time on each kid, or most of the kids. The Jewish kid and black kid kind of, their stories get like pushed aside a little bit, and that's it's a long movie, so it's like 2 hours long, and so I'm surprised that they were able to give enough backstory, like besides the main character Billy, that they were able to give I think Eddie was his name, the kid with the like. He's afraid of diseases and germs and anything scary like that. Man, I forget the Jewish kid's name. Stan? Is it Stan? Oh man, if it's not, I'm gonna feel really stupid and dumb. Anyways, but yeah, they they give backstory on Beverly. She's the only female of the group, but you see most of these kids' home life and why they want to get out of their lives. And what I mean by that is why they started this losers club, why they hang out with each other, why they like to get out of the house and see each other, because each one of these kids has some issue going on in their actual lives. Apart from that, the story does a good job of, or the film does, of like planting the seed, in my opinion, with it himself, you know, or itself, Pennywise. So, you know, you get to see Georgie's death at the beginning, and then he really kind of takes a back seat for just a bit, just enough. You know, he does a little bit of jump scares there, but you really see him develop. Not him as a character, it's just him as a threat. So that's really cool to see these kids each get troubled by this clown and ultimately come together to face it. So that was pretty cool. There are so many good shots in this film. The only one that I can recall right now, because I saw this movie like 3 weeks ago, so it's been a minute. But just the intro, you know how it's upside down and like it just, you know, just the camera starts turning and then you know you see the title card, It. At the end, actually, that was one of my favorite things. The fact that the title card comes up again and it says It Chapter 1. I thought that was really cool too. And I know there's a few others that there's so many just well done shots that I loved in this movie. Just the way the camera moves, the angle that the camera is at, really awesome. So it was very professionally done. It was very story driven. It was the right amount of scary, and what ultimately, as far as that story driven premise that I really love about this film, it just shows, which is a rarity nowadays in Hollywood. It just shows that the people behind the camera, the people on set, the actors themselves, it's just the people that worked on this production, they cared about what they were making. You know, I haven't read the original book, so I'm actually, I don't read much, so I'm not a huge fan of Stephen King's work. But it just, they cared about what they were making. This was not just some throwaway horror film. It was an actual movie, and that's one thing I loved. It had great pacing. It captivated you, and it walked you through what it needed to walk through. So, great movie, and it's just, I love it when there's a lot of care. I mean, just simple stuff like what I've been talking about, those camera angles. It's just stuff that you know, people don't really put that much attention to these days. For one reason or another, whether it be studio interference, whether it be, you know, I'm not just saying that people just, you know, people that make a movie just, you know, to collect a paycheck. Some do, but I'm not saying that that's the norm. It's just, it seems that ultimately, you know, the goal of anything that you're going to sell is to make money, you know, but it just feels like lately there's a lot of products being pushed our way rather than, and this is going to sound totally corny here, but rather than works of art. And this is an experience. This was a fun, captivating movie. I loved it. So, yeah, highly recommend it. Maybe I'm being a little harsh here, but it probably deserves a higher score. But this is what, the reason I'm going to say this is because this is what I can comfortably, confidently put it at. It 2017 for me gets a 7 out of 10. Alright guys, so leave comments and debate what y'all thought about the movie. Talk trash about my rating or not, or say good stuff. And yeah, for the few people that watch this and want to keep up with me and you want to keep me motivated, thank you, and I'm gonna keep it going. So that was my review on It. You guys have a good night. This has been DJ Myst. Peace. Again, this is Butters, and don't get used to seeing him. He's not going to be in these videos much unless I find a good way to integrate him into it. I just thought a lot of you were going to be curious now that I have an intro who that dog was. So this is Butters. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, go. See you guys.